Very good evening, one and all present here. Today we are having the next speaker, Brynne Tillman from USA, and she is a Chief Learning Officer. She is an inter-emotional recognized social selling trainer and best-selling author of the LinkedIn Sales Playbook, a tactical guide to social selling. Brynne has been a top producer and sales trainer throughout her 25 years plus career and brings practical applications to sales team. And also, she has been as a subject matter experts, gain access to more qualified buyers and convert the connections to the phone calls. It's quite interesting to be a part of this conference, Brynne. So here the session starts. You can start your session.
Hello and welcome to Leveraging LinkedIn for Business Development. I'm very excited about this program. That was a wonderful introduction. I am Brynne Tillman, best-selling Amazon author of the LinkedIn Sales Playbook. Really great resource that comes with 11 LinkedIn webinars. Fabulous to getting started. Please, as we go through today, make sure you're following me on Twitter, connecting with me on LinkedIn, and I can answer any questions that you may have. This is absolutely one of my favorite courses to teach, so I'm really excited to get started. Stick around to the end, and I'll get you access to some powerful LinkedIn resources that will help you implement what you learned today. So let's just start with why social selling. So the facts. The buyer's journey has changed. We know that 57% of the buyer's journey has happened before the vendor even knows they're in the market. What does that mean? They're Googling, they're looking on social media, they're reading information on websites, they're reading blog posts, and they're really self-educators. And so it's really important that if their journey has changed, that we're on that same journey. So the modern buyer requires a modern seller. And what we're going to go through today are some of the ways that you can start to transform and meet the buyer where they are today. We're also all digitally connected and driven. Do you know that we are looking at our phones on average 85 times a day? So if we're doing that, so are our buyers. We need to make sure that we are where they are, and they're on social, they're on digital, they're on Google, they are online. And so if we're still trying to sell the traditional way without leveraging new technology the way our buyers are, we're going to get left behind. And last, this is the evolution of sales. When I started in sales in 1990, I didn't have email. I was door to door and phone call to phone call, with the only follow-up being a written message. Can you imagine doing sales today without email? That would be insane. Well, that's where we're moving with social. In a few years, you won't be able to imagine doing any kind of business development without leveraging digital sales tools and social selling. So that's what we're going to dive into today. I also want to set an expectation of the goal of social selling. Social selling is not social marketing. It's a very different animal. Although social marketing is absolutely essential to attracting and engaging our buyers, social selling is really activities that are done by salespeople, by people in business development that are hunting new logos or expanding an existing account. Social selling is about listening and finding opportunities, but the overarching goal to keep in mind if you are going to truly leverage social selling, it's about scheduling more calls with targeted buyers. If you're not scheduling more calls with targeted buyers, you might be on social media, but you're not social selling. So LinkedIn for social selling, we, in combination with how LinkedIn defines it, breaks it down into 4 categories. The first is your profile. This is foundational. If your profile is screaming sales or just resume, you're not going to get the engagement. So all the work that we're going to talk about that can help you grow your business on LinkedIn will fall short when they show up to your profile and it's screaming that you're in sales. Next, your network. You need to engage with your existing network and new people in your network. If you connect and forget, you're going to lose so many opportunities that are there right in front of you. And prospect, this is one of the most popular when it comes to social selling. How are we finding new connections, new opportunities, and leveraging our shared connections to gain access to them? And last, this kind of falls into that social marketing. This is content and insights and really adding value through education to our network. So we're going to go through all 4 of those today. Let's start really quickly with the client-centric profile and really your client-centric everything on LinkedIn. We want to move from a resume to a resource. We want to bring value, and this is one of my favorite cartoons. If you're on the land and your prospect is on the boat and you're screaming boat, they don't care. So you have to make sure that you get in the boat, look at things from their perspective, and develop your profile and all your activities on LinkedIn around their needs, their wants, and the stuff that'll start getting them interested in what you do. So let's break down the profile. Top profile elements. There are many. I just am highlighting the top 6. I highly recommend you either take a screenshot when I get through all 6 or take some notes, because these are absolutely vital for positioning you as a thought leader and subject matter expert, and ultimately the vendor of choice when it comes to putting your profile together. So first, your background or banner. That's the graphic that's behind your head. This now follows you. So if you share a piece of content and someone clicks through to that content, on the left-hand side, they're going to see you, your headline, which we'll get to in a minute, and your background or banner. You want this to be engaging and also branding if you are in a business development role. You want to keep your brand in front of them. Next is your headshot. This should not be casual. This is your business headshot. In fact, you should look like you look when you show up at an appointment. So you want it up close and personal and making eye contact. This is a networking event. It is a 24/7 online networking event. You want to make eye contact with the people that you're meeting at this event. Your headline should not scream sales rep, business owner, entrepreneur, because your buyer's not interested in that. Remember, the goal of our profile is to get more engagement and get really turn in our visitors into our qualified visitors into phone calls. So our headline needs to talk to our buyers and show them that we bring value. What do we do for them? So who do we work with and how do we serve them? Mine is transforming the way professionals grow their business by leveraging LinkedIn and digital sales. Right? So what am I doing? I'm talking to professionals who want to use LinkedIn to grow their sales. They immediately know what I do. Now I add an extra end, which is learn how in my summary below, because I am a true believer that if you provide insights that are really relevant and have impact, then your buyers will want to have a call with you, because if you can offer, and this is where we offer, this is in our summary, if you can offer real insights that get them thinking a little bit differently about their current situation, and then you ask for a call, they're going to know that you're worth their time. Don't ever think that you offer a free consultation. It costs them their time. So when you say, I don't understand why they don't take my call, it's free. It's not free to them. You want to make sure that you are building your credibility, and it starts with your profile, so that when you offer that consultation, it's so well worth their time that they can't wait to talk with you. You want to kind of convert your experience from what you do to how you help them. This will tell them more about the services that you offer from a perspective of the value and the results that you can bring them, not necessarily your job responsibilities. And last, be sure to add rich media, videos and ebooks, case studies. I love case studies. People love to hear success stories and relate to them and wish to be them, right? So make sure that you're uploading these anywhere in your summary or any of your experience. You can upload PDFs. PowerPoints, all kind, and link to, if you have case studies on your website, you can link right there. Very powerful. Next is your network, right? So you want to engage with your new and existing connections. And I think that this is really important. So let's start with your existing connections. These are your first degrees. You want to make sure, I mean, you've connected probably with 500, 600, 700 or more people on LinkedIn if you're actively using it. There are a lot of people in those connections that you've probably ignored that were potential prospects. So you want to make sure that you're going back and you're looking through those connections and you're identifying who in your network you want to have a conversation with. So there are a couple of ways to do this. One is through search. When you search on LinkedIn, you can choose lots of criteria, including first degree connections. So you can drill your list down to really, individuals based on their title or geographic location and other filters. If you move into Sales Navigator, you can drill down even more. But in the free, it does a pretty good job. And you can export your connections into a CSV file. If you don't know how to export your connections, make sure you connect with me and I'll send you the step-by-step to do that. But when you export your connections, you get them into a CSV file, or you can open that up in an Excel or a Google spreadsheet, and you get first name, last name, title, company, and email of every one of your connections. And so it makes it really simple to filter those, go through them, reach out on LinkedIn or by email. Next, your new connections. So we're connecting with new people all the time. And if you're using LinkedIn right, you're connecting with prospects. You want to make sure that when they accept your connection or when you accept their connection, that you send them a welcome message. One that offers some content and valuable resources that can have an impact on your business, on their business, right? In a way that elevates your reputation with them very quickly. It brings immediate credibility. So whether it's a blog post or a video or something, but make sure it's your best stuff, right? It's the stuff that gets them jaw-dropping, going, wow, there's some real value with this person and with this company. So that when you follow up for a phone call, they know that if you could give them that much value in a resource, imagine how awesome a phone call with you might be. And last, make sure you're responding to them. You've got lots of stuff coming into your inbox, into your news feed and your notifications where people are thinking about you. You want to make sure you respond to this just like you would any email. It's really important. This is, again, a networking event, and if someone is reaching out to you and you don't reach back, it's like you walk into a networking event, they put out their hand, and you turn your back. We don't want that to happen here on LinkedIn. So make sure you're putting some time on your schedule, maybe 10 minutes a day or half hour a week, and really go through all of your notifications and inbox, and particularly the things that, where people have engaged on your stuff, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So when you're out networking, there are types of messaging templates that you want to put in place. This is some of the content that I can that I'll share with you when you connect with me, your gift. There's the connection request. You want to make sure that you've got a template in place for connection requests for prospects, for strategic alliances, for people you've met. I have about 4 connection requests. I use about 2 of them all the time. Then you want those welcome messages. I have a welcome message where I'm providing insights. I have a welcome message where I'm asking for a phone call. I have a welcome message to someone like a colleague, so I'm not going to provide insights to another LinkedIn trainer because not the same ones that I'm going to provide to a prospect. So you want to make sure that you've got your welcome messages in place to make it really simple when you're accepting connections or when people accept your connections, you are sending them a message that provides value to their world. Next, you want to respond to who's viewed your profile. I look at this like LinkedIn's caller ID. You want to make sure that you are the people that are viewing your profile and the people that are that you're already connected to, you've got a message for. second degrees that you don't know you have a message for. For example, Joe, thanks so much for visiting my profile. I had a chance to look at yours. I think there could be some opportunity for us to network with one another. I'd be honored if you'd connect with me. Simple, right? Now they connect, you send a welcome message, and you start engaging in conversation. Next is the introduction request. I've used this all the time. When you identify that someone in your network is connected to your targeted buyer, you want to make sure you're asking the right way to connect. And remember, if you connect with me, I'm going to send you all of these templates or examples of templates to make it easier for you to write. But you want to make sure that you're reaching out, you're asking the right way for an introduction into somebody in their network, and you're making it easy for them to actually make that introduction on your behalf. Next, simple birthday anniversaries and new positions. Depending on what you do for a living, at work anniversaries and new positions can be incredibly valuable information. And you want to make sure that they're just not the generic congrats. So by having some fun templates, like I have a template that says, this must be your 187th birthday wish today, but I still hope you have a great one, or something like that. I hope you have a great one. Even so, I hope you have a great one. It's a little clever, it's a little fun, it stands out more than your basic happy birthday. Come up with them and create templates so you don't have to rewrite them all the time. And you want to make sure that you're following up from your in-person meetings. You're taking it from an in-person meeting into LinkedIn so that you can nurture them over time. Okay, so there's some productivity tools that are going to make this easier. Better, faster, and stronger. The first is Auto Text Expander. Actually, I don't have it here, but if you go to autotextlink.com, that's autotextlink.com, it will take you to the Chrome extension called Auto Text Expander, where you can store all of your templates and use shortcodes, so you never have to copy and paste again inside of LinkedIn if you're using Chrome. Next, I recommend Grammarly. I'm a big offender of then and then, THEN, THAN, when to use it, and other things. I use too many commas sometimes and not enough at others, and Grammarly will help you fix that. And I like a calendar sync. I use Calendly, and I can offer my prospects a link to my profile, to my calendar, so that they can schedule calls at their convenience, and I completely control the availability. So that's what I use. Those three tools make prospecting on LinkedIn and business development on LinkedIn much more effective. Our third is prospect. So we want to make sure that we're targeting our buyers. The first thing we want to do is create search strings. Search strings, or Boolean searches, are formulas. Again, I will actually, in the resources that I give you, I have a resource that will help you build out your perfect search string. Takes you step by step. But a search string is a formula that we put into LinkedIn or Google, and it will give us a list of all the people that meet the criteria of those keywords and phrases in our search string. This is absolutely foundational if you are going to prospect effectively on LinkedIn. You've got to build out your search string that produces a list of your prospects. It takes a little while, could be a half hour of tinkering with it until you get it right. But once you get it right, it will make a huge difference in your productivity and your prospecting. Next, the way you connect is really important. There really are two ways. You can directly connect with them, and if you do, it's got to be incredibly relevant, because otherwise it's cold calling and your stats of engagement go way down. And there's warm introductions. And one of the things I love about LinkedIn is you can search your connections. You can see who in your network can help you gain access to a targeted buyer. You want to make sure you are leveraging that information and reaching out to your existing connections, letting them know that they're connected to someone that you want to meet, and positioning yourself to actually get those warm referrals and introductions. It's a game changer when it comes to business development. And there's no pixie dust. It is a little bit of work, but it's a lot less work than any cold calling you could ever do. And last, make sure you're taking those new connections offline. If you are not having phone calls, so just because cold calling is more difficult, and I don't recommend necessarily doing a whole lot of cold calling, I do recommend a ton of calling, making sure we've got scheduled appointments with people that expect our call. If we don't take it, unless you're selling a widget, if we don't take it offline into phone calls, we don't get sales. And last, we want to make sure we're educating them. So one of my favorite lines is from the Challenger Sales CEB. You want to make sure that you lead to your solution, not with your solution. So what does that mean? When you lead with your solution, you're pitching. This is what I do. This is how I help. This is why you should hire me. That's leading with your solution. When you lead to your solution, you're dropping breadcrumbs, little insights that create curiosity, that create the need for more information or the want for more information to you, so that they're knocking on your door saying, let's chat. When we can lead them to our solution, they are much more likely to want to buy. So don't pitch, attract. The most important takeaway in all of this is if you start by selling, you are absolutely going to leave without a sale. However, if you get and provide enough insights and education and thought leadership, you will become the vendor of choice. So, educate. Content and thought leadership starts with curation. You want to make sure that you are finding the best content out there that's relevant to your buyers. Don't put content out for the sake of content. Put content out that's really valuable to your buyers. You can do this through, there's Feedly, there's Pocket, there's Google Alerts, BuzzSumo, lots of places to find really great content. Look at your industry blog posts. Just make sure you're not sharing your competitors' content. That's important, but you want to curate as much as possible. Then you can originate content. And a lot of people go, oh, I don't write, I don't blog. So blog posts are definitely great original content, but making videos, making ebooks, doing interviews, doing Skype interviews, doing podcasts. There are lots of ways to get original content that doesn't mean that you have to write a blog post. And if you're more of a talker than a writer, just consider either getting drag-in dictation on your phone where you talk, it turns to text, or use a service like rev.com that can transcribe audio. And last, you want to make sure you're engaging in thought leadership on other people's posts. So through LinkedIn, you can find posts based on hashtags, you can find content based on topics, and you want to make sure that you are engaging with other people on their posts that is in the realm of what you do. And that's how you're going to start to attract more people to you by leveraging other influencers. So now what? Well, this is something I'm going to go through pretty quickly, but I really recommend that you take a screenshot once all 8 are out here. Why? Because these are the 8 essential activities that we recommend, and there are many others, but these are the 8 essential activities that we generally recommend that you're doing on a daily or weekly basis. So who's viewed your profile? Again, this is caller ID. Make sure you're checking that out every single day. Your outstanding invitations. These are the people that are asking you to connect. Now, sometimes I get a ton, and I really try to get to them within 72 hours. But if you're only getting 2 or 3 a day, make sure that you're accepting those connections and sending out welcome messages. That's the next thing. And then respond to your inbox. In your inbox, you're going to see your new connections and messages that people are sending you. It's really important that you respond there as well. And engage in your news feed and your groups and your notifications on a daily basis. Maybe you put 10 minutes aside every day to engage here. Set a timer. You can get lost into a black hole of social media. So make sure that you are using your time wisely. Share content every single day. Now, request introductions. This for me is 1 or 2 times a week, but I consistently will be asking for request introductions from my clients and from my centers of influence. And then you want to search and connect in relevant ways with all of your targeted buyers. So here's some key performance indicators that you should keep in mind and how you measure your success. Number 1, once you get that search string done, you want to search with your first-degree connections to see who you know that you should be having conversations with and write that number down. That's your baseline. Once you write that number down, you then want to, whether it's weekly or monthly, do that same search to see if you have 25 today and 50 in a week. That means you've now connected with 25 new targeted buyers. That's a really good baseline to see, am I doing the right activity that's getting me new connections? Next, you want to track how many of those new connections converted to phone calls. Because if you have 25 net new connections, but you only got 1 phone call, then maybe we're not providing enough value, or we're not asking in a way that's relevant to them. So that's where we'd have to tweak some of our activity and what we're doing. And you want to track how many of those calls actually convert to either real opportunities or sales. And another really kind of fun way to track your increase in activity is with your SSI score. This is a LinkedIn score. So if you go to getmyssiscore.com, it's not the be-all, the end-all score, but it's a nice little, you can see it tick up when you're doing more activity. But the bottom line is, if you're in sales, if you're in business development, the most important key performance indicator is that you're making money from these activities. Okay, so your gift, which I'm really excited about. This is one of about 7 things that you're going to be getting, but and all you have to do is connect with me on LinkedIn and I will send this out to you. There's 5 LinkedIn message templates. So we went through some of those templates that make it really much easier. There's also some other resources in this book. And there'll be other things, like I have a link to that putting together those Boolean searches. So make sure that you connect with me on LinkedIn. Again, I'm Brynne Tillman. You just go to LinkedIn. I'm the only Brynne Tillman to do that. And let me know that you were on the summit, and I will be thrilled to connect with you.
Thank you, Ms. Brynne, for your fabulous presentation.